Good morning, early bird classroom. How are you? I've got to get that junk out of the way over there. I was doing my recycling and I haven't seen the picture yet of what I've got in the background. As you can see, I moved in a different place in my house, and that is because we're doing science today and we're doing crafts is what we're doing. But give me just a second. I need to I'll be right back. Okay, and now instead of wearing this scarf that I really can't do a whole lot of crafts with, we are going to, and this isn't crafts, it's science. Did I tell you we're doing science, not crafts? So, let's see how I painted these with my kids when they were little. There's a little advertising there. I could have taken my kids' aprons, but I didn't want to because they're smaller. Okay, I brought all the crafts together for us so that they're right behind me here. All of our supplies are right behind me here. So here's a little more room for me to work. And hopefully you have a little more room for you to work as well, right? Let's see what we have here. It doesn't matter. We're all set. So I found these in highlights, and I bought these highlights again from where? From the Commerce Township Library sale that they had, right? So I was looking through for some ideas for you, for the early bird classroom, because I'm the teacher and you're here in the classroom. And I saw these, and of course you know how much I love flowers. I have a whole new batch of flowers, which you haven't seen. You'll see that in the Bookless classroom. I'll move my studio back to the normal place. But so I saw these, and you know how much I love flowers. And so I thought this is a great science idea, because I apparently wanted to make flowers, right? So we'll turn it into science is what we'll do. But no, let me tell you, you know what our title says, right? So our title says science, and I don't have it up there either. Science, and it says methodology. It's a very big word. How many stops does that have? Let's look at the stops. We haven't done that in a long time, have we, early birds? Let's look at the stops that we have in that word. Where am I going here? Yeah. We'll do that. I'm going to move something in a minute. Methodology. Methodology. 5 stops. And that's what we're doing in science. And why am I using such a big word? Why do I have to use such a big word? I had a student ask me that one time. Dr. Feravich, why do you always have to use big words? I wasn't a doctor then when she asked me that. Words mean different things. So there's all different kinds of reasons why you use this word and not that word. It doesn't have to be a big word. Why do you use little instead of small? Sometimes little is probably better than small, isn't it? Sometimes it's different, isn't it? Or small, you're a small person. That could mean a couple different things, can't it? Could mean you're not little, just means that you don't have a very big character, right? Or a lot of character. That's why I need that scarf on. And to rearrange my furniture a little bit. Okay, all right, so that's why I don't wear this top a lot. I think I'm going to put the scarf on so I'm not bothered by leaning over. And then I will tuck it in underneath. And then I don't have to worry about leaning over, is what I'm saying. Okay, this is how I'm working now. Looks great. Does the job. Okay, so in science, I've said, in science, we have to follow directions. It's important for us to follow directions. When we do an experiment, right? When we observe and then ask questions, what we also then do is we test, don't we, right? I think I have that still here. I'll get it up here. See, I'm getting better at it. So this is what we want to take a look at. Now, as I've said, we always do start with observations and questions, right? We start with observations and then we move into questions. This one here starts with questions, but the most important thing for us to do is observe. So I could bring up another one, and I think that I will. This is the one I like a little bit better. I thought I liked the twinkle one better, but I don't like the twinkle one better. And I don't like it because it misses observations. And that's what we have to do, right? So make an observation, ask questions. We've done some background research on a lot of different things, right? When I look things up on the internet, that's when, and come back to you with new information, that's me doing background research is what I'm doing. And then we construct a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is just an educated guess. That just means I think that the problem is this because of all the observing that I've done. I think that the problem is probably this, okay? And not that, for example. There's my shoes. I don't like seeing my shoes there either. I don't like seeing this box right there either. But those are the boxes of pictures that I have to take with me somewhere. Okay, no, let's get back where we're going. And stop getting distracted by those shoes over there. Like I am. Stop it. Stop looking at them. I'm moving them because you won't stop looking at them. There. Now you can't see them anymore. Nice shot, Annette. That's Dr. Feravich to you, I said. How many times do I have to tell you that? Okay, so now what we're doing is, in this part of science, is we're doing testing. I think I can make flowers if I get all of these ingredients together, right? And that's the method. That's methodology. I think I can answer my question. I don't like that either. I think that I can answer my question if I follow these directions. What's your question, Annette? My question is, how do I get flowers in the house during the winter time? What? How'd that get to be your question? I don't know. All I knew is I wanted to make flowers, right? So that's really what my observation is. I want flowers in my house year round. How do I get them? I can make them. If I want to make them, though, I have to follow directions. Just like in every science experiment, you have to follow the directions. Somebody else has done at least part of the experiment that you're doing. Somebody else has made these flowers before, and they gave me instructions. Somebody else has tested water before for contaminants, and there are directions. Somebody has studied whether or not extroverts are more likely to take risks, and they had to follow directions in order to study that again. In science, whenever we do an experiment, whenever we do a study, we write everything down exactly the way that we do it, so that somebody else doesn't have to guess on how to test water. Somebody else doesn't have to guess on how to study an extrovert or personality. Somebody doesn't have to guess on how, why did I close that? To make flowers. We don't have to guess on how to get flowers in our house during the cool months. We have directions on how to do that. And so in science, one of the most important things that we do is we follow directions. All right? So let's follow directions. The first one I want to make actually is I want to make the daisy, because I feel like that's the easiest one for me to make. So I'm going to make the daisy first. So what do we need? We need to cut out long strips of cardstock and then glue the ends together to form a loop. Make 3 more loops. So I have to make a total of 4 loops in order to make this flower. Those were the first set of directions. That was the first set of directions, number 1 under the daisy. All right, so I have all of my supplies here. And here is, let me get my cardstock here. I'm gonna spread these out just a little bit. Here we go. All right, now I decided that I do have glue here. Glue is a big deal for me. I don't like glue. Glue never works like it's supposed to. I learned that when I was in kindergarten. Oh my gosh. If I could have cussed in kindergarten, I would have. And I would have cussed at glue, is what I would have cussed at. So I do a lot of things to avoid glue. I do have glue. This is the super glue is what I have. And but they're just single uses, so I can't use, when I open it up, I end up using the whole thing and it doesn't go very far. So instead, what I'm doing, because this one is, I said I follow directions first, and I do, but I avoid glue. I avoid using glue. I find glue to be the most frustrating thing. So all of this is going to be hidden by this yellow dot there in the middle. So I figured what I can do is I can staple. Now, one of the things with stapling in this kind of paper is that sometimes it does rip apart, but because I'm a little bit in a hurry so that we can get the projects done, I'm going to go ahead and staple anyway. If I wanted to take a little more time, I probably would glue, because glue looks nicer than staples and glue lasts longer. It's better. But look, that's what I did. Made it with the staple. And I could put those staples in the back, by the way, so nobody will see my staple. So it said make one, and then it said how many more? How many more? Do you remember? Look back in the directions if you don't remember. I'll tell you the issue of highlights that this is. So I'm rounding it in a circle, and I'm just stapling it. That's number 2. I've got 2 now. So the issue of the highlights here is May 2020 is what it is. So that's where I got that from, and I'm getting to number 3. You can see that I am not very fast. And I don't think that those were the same size. So here's number 3. And I have trouble getting my fingers out of the way when I staple. So it's not... Stapling is better for some things and not better for other things. But I'm making this pretty quickly, I think. I've got my 4. And then it said to... And then it said to arrange them. So that is what I'm doing. Now I'll turn the nicer side to you. And just trying to get it all even. Number 3. I'll put right there. And number 4, I'll put right here. And now, that I'm right here by the router. Oh, excellent connection, Annette. What are you talking about? You must be nuts. Okay, so I'm just trying to get these arranged, because you know how that goes. Then you stick a staple in there, and they're all looking like, And you're like, what did I do? And you know, that is the problem, although I probably have the same problem with gluing, is trying to get these things arranged when they're not cooperating. I think that looks pretty good. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's pretty good. So now I'm going to try and get this. I'm going to have to put it on the table here. Oh, surprise, surprise, the light went out. That's okay. I'm going to get this stapled first before I about the light. And there we go. And now, oh, of course, at the last minute, the paper turns. But that's okay. See what I did? See what I did? And then it turned. So I opened it up. I made a mistake. And I'm going to staple it again. But that's okay. Because you know what? It happens all the time. And even when we're adults, we can't get these things perfect. And all it is a craft. And we still can't get the craft perfect. But look at that. I think that's pretty good. Don't you? I think that'll work just fine. And I have more strips. So the first time you make it, a lot of times it's not going to be perfect. But I have more strips. So I could make it better if I wanted to. Now, let's go get my really pretty centers that I have, right? So, these self-stick gems. Let's hope they stick pretty well, right? That's another problem, isn't it? Even when they're self-stick. Are they really sticky? Because I could find something really sticky, you know, like trying to open up a potato chip bag. That's totally impossible. And then you go and you buy something like this that's supposed to stick. And it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to use, I think, let me see here. I'm going to use a green one there. So I'm going to use a pink one in the middle of this. That's what I feel like using is pink. Well, it feels pretty sticky. And I do know let me move it out here. That the glue will help. That if this doesn't work very well, and of course I stuck it on the bad side over here where I've got the little problem. But look at that! We have flower number 1 made. And I didn't follow directions. I should have. What's number 2 say on the daisy? Stack and arrange the loops to form a circle. Glue them together. That was number 2. I should have read the directions because that's what we're supposed to be doing in science. That's the whole key of this whole thing. We don't want to move that. And number 3, add a small cardstock circle, tape or paper straw to the back. I don't have paper straws. I didn't follow that direction either. But I do have straws and I do have tape. If you remember, we decorated the straws. So yesterday, let's see, what straw do we want to pick for the back of this? Well, I don't know. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to mix them all together in my lap. And I'm just going to pick one. And it's going to be this one. Blue. Oh, I like it. It's got little red things on it. It looks cute. I don't know if I want it on this one, though. Too bad. I said I'm going to pick one, and I'm sticking with it. So we have pink and blue. And where's our tape? I could have stapled this onto the back before I glued this pink thing on. And I think I would have preferred it stapled on rather than taped on. But it doesn't really matter. I'm going to tape it on. And of course, I didn't line up my tape very well. So I have a little bit of tape showing. But I fixed it. And I don't think I put it on my straw. I don't think I put it on the flower very well either. So you could see that there can be lots of little mistakes that we make, especially the first time. This is the reason why we need to have really good directions. And then we decide how we might make it easier on us, right? Easier on ourselves. So I also put that straw pretty high, like right in the middle. So I made the flower quite a bit shorter. But that's okay. I think I need it to be pretty solid back there. So there's our flower number 1. Should we get a vase? I hate the way I look when I stand up and stand up. And put my butt in there. But who knows? Stirs in here and some other things, but wash that out. And I could put tissue paper down in there, and then that will stay the way that I want it to. Or I could put foam in there or something in there that makes it look pretty, and that will stand the way I want it to. But let's get going with the next flower. I feel like this daffodil was rather hard to make, but I did cut out the paper, so let's take a look at making that daffodil. So it says, very first thing, flatten 3 cupcake liners. On each, draw a shape with 3 petals. Cut them out. So here's a shape with 3 petals that they say to cut out there. And if you remember yesterday, I did tell you what I did, right? So what I did was, we have it right there, which we don't want to have there. And I don't even dare move it. I could move this. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay, so as you know, I purchased these cupcake cups, just like it said. And what I did was I made different shapes, as I told you yesterday. This was the shape that I thought turned out the best because daffodils do have pointed ends, and this one had, even though the shape, those were pretty pointed ends, I thought. So, and you can see I tried different shapes, a little bit different shapes. This was the one that I thought looked more like what they had. And I made them out of cardboard. And when you go and you trace those onto your cupcakes, you could cut a whole bunch at one time. You don't have to draw that shape on each one. So let me get the ones that are the diamonds, because I have lots of these. But as you can see, well, I keep them together so that the yellow is a darker yellow. And we can arrange them. I think I will go ahead and use this one. I'm going to use this one. So I arranged it. I only used 2 different arrangements on this bigger one. And I'm stapling them. And I did put the staple very good, but hopefully I'll be able to cover it up. So here, number 2, it says, stack and arrange them to form a circle. Glue them together, which we did with a staple. Glue a mini cupcake liner and a pom-pom on top. Tape a paper straw to the back. Okay, well, I couldn't find any of these mini paper cups. So what we call improvised. I used something different is what I did. That's a big word. I improvised. I just used my brain and tried something a little different. And I found I have these to clean my face. All right, we don't want to use that one. We'll use this one. So I thought what I would do is I would pull this together and maybe glue it together, or since I don't like glue, I was going to staple it. Maybe I'll staple it. Look at that. That's awesome, I thought. So I'm not going to use glue because I haven't used it so far, and now I'm going to open a new one up and get my hands all stuck together because I only have the super glue. So what I'm going to do is I am going to staple that. I'm just pinching it together like that. And I'm going to put a staple back there. And that worked. I'm opening it up. I could put another one in there. I think that worked for me. I think I will put one more in there. Put one more in there on this side. Just because I want it to be a little smaller and a little scrunchier. That didn't work very well. And now I'm going to actually staple that right there too. And so I'll scrunch it up maybe just a little bit more for that staple. And so this staple is going to cover, this white cotton ball is going to cover up the old staple. Get it in the center where you want it. And now, I don't have a yellow pom-pom, but I do have one of these green yellow gems that I'm going to put right in the middle. Covers up that staple. And then I'm going to close my eyes. And in fact, even with this one, look at what you could do with the petals. I could even take, because I put more than one together, I can even take those petals and make it more three-dimensional. Make it look a little bit more like it's a real flower. So see, we follow directions, and in science, actually, we do want to be really precise in following the directions so that when we make a change, we have a reason why. We say, this works better for me. Staples works better for me. Let me pick a straw. Okay. The pink and green striped straw. I'm going to tape it on the back, and I want to tape it on the back so that they are all the same, about the same height. So I want to tape it right exactly where I had the other one, which was right in the middle of the flower there. So we want to make them all just about the same, how tall, each one of them the same height is what we would call it. Flower number 2. How fun is this? I hope you like making flowers. Flower number 2, our daffodil. The daffodil doesn't want to stay up there. But that's okay, because I will put something in the bottom there, and then they'll all stay there. I'll put some foam there, and maybe we'll see that tomorrow. Let's look at number 3. We're on number 3 already, the K lily. Cut a large triangle with 3 equal sides from paper. Round the points. So if you remember, I did that too. I made these 3 different sizes because I wanted to make 3 different K lilies. So I did 3 different sizes. we're going to only do one today. And I think that I'm going to do the medium size one. And so it says to cut out this triangle, I'm going to trace it on a piece of paper. And I happen to like the purple flower there. I liked the purple K lily that they have. So I'm going to go ahead and move aside my other papers I cut for the lily to make white ones, or not the lily, the daffodil, to make white ones or pink ones or blue ones. So let me move that aside. And then let me take care of my stencils I made for the daffodil. Put that back where they belong. And also put back where they belong the strips of paper for the daisy. We want to clean up our messes. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to trace this. Let me get a good tracing pen here. Seriously? Oh, there we go. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. My Sharpie. There we go. My black Sharpie. And I don't like to waste paper, and I like to make things a little bit easier for me in cutting out. So I'll put that right on the end there, right on the edge of the piece of paper, so I don't have to trace one of the ends. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because I'll be able to correct it when I cut it out. So there's my shape. Here are my scissors. And let's cut the shape out. Are you with me? So I had to use my ruler in order to get this triangle to be equal on all three sides. And it took some what we call trial and error. I had to try and it didn't work, and I had to try again and it didn't work, and I had to try again and it didn't work. But finally I did get a triangle that had three sides that were all equal. That's called an isosceles triangle, a triangle with three sides that are all the same in length. It's called an isosceles triangle. Okay, so the directions say then, number 2, round the points. Tape a paper straw so it aims at one point. Okay, so let's get a paper straw. But it's not a paper straw. Ooh, I like this one. Okay, so it's pointing, and I tape it, and I want it to be the same size, so I'm going to put it up there like that. So again, it says tape a paper straw so it aims at one point. I want to make sure, because I have some marker on that I can't see the marker, right? So let's tape the paper straw. I'm going to, but you're going to end up seeing that. It's okay. See, you're going to end up seeing the middle of the paper straw, and that's actually supposed to be where the pipe cleaner is supposed to be. So I want to make sure that you could still see the pipe cleaner. And then what does it say? It says to, how do you do that? Ooh! Although you could see the marker here. That's how you do it. I didn't know till I tried it. I didn't know. Now I can glue that there. I don't know how tight I want to make it, but I think I am going to tape it. Because it's not only going to hold this shut, but it's actually going to hold my straw as well. Now, you may not like the tape on there. I don't care. And my K-Lily is lopsided. I'm okay with that too. And you're not going to be able to see my little thing inside unless I put it way up here. I did get green ones though for it. Well, no, actually, I don't know which color I wanted to use. Should I use silver? I don't know. That's not the best K-Lily. So I'm not going to put anything in there, actually. I'm going to leave it the way that it is. I might make another one, but I'm going to leave this one the way that it is. It's not perfect by any means, but I have plenty of, I can make as many as I want having all of these shapes that I have. So let's go ahead. We've got the K-Lily done, and we don't have time to do our last flower. I want to get going so I'm not late. I know, even though I was pretty late for this one. There's flower number 3. We're putting our supplies back, our scissors back, our tape back, where they all belong, including some of these other supplies, our paper. And let's see, and let's take a look at putting all these daisies back. And my cupcakes and my tracing marker, everything back where it belongs. Let me push this chair in the way I like it. There we go. I gotta squeeze in here. Let's look at the last flower here, the poppy. It says, cut out 6 circles from tissue paper. Glue them together to form a big circle. Cut out 2 small cardstock circles and punch a hole in each and in the tissue paper. Push a chenille stick through 1 cardstock circle, then the tissue paper, and then the other cardstock. Bend the ends and slide a paper straw into the chenille stick. Bend the end. So the chenille stick is this for this little thing there. We don't need to do any of that, right? So I have tissue paper here. We're doing it. We're going to be a little bit late for the Bookless classroom. I did get tissue paper. And this tissue paper actually is paper that came from my flowers that I bought. So I didn't even have to go out and buy tissue paper. When I buy flowers on a regular basis, they're wrapped in this kind of paper. One was wrapped in yellow one time. So here's yellow. And then here's red. And so I think I will make a red one. And I don't have a template. I did not make a circle template because I didn't figure I had to do that. But here, I'm going to fold it and half again. I'll have 4 of those, easy peasy. Now watch what I do. Well, let me get all this even here. And now what I'm going to do here is cut a square. And now I gotta cut this in half so I have 4 squares, because right now I have 2 rectangles. All right, so I'm gonna fold it in half and cut it in half, and now I have 4 squares. And now I'm going to cut the ends off of the square. In order to make myself a circle. And now I'm just going to trim that up a little bit. And now I have 4 circles. I can take and staple these together right in the center instead of gluing them. I can take, I think I'll take a purple one, put that right in the center. Glue a straw to the back. I like this one. You know I'm not gluing though, you know I'm taping, and that's what it said anyway, to tape a straw to the back. I've got my tape. I'm taping the straw to the back. I'll say it again. Tape the straw to the back. And then just crinkle that up a little bit. Which I could have done before I put the straw on. How about that? We did all the flowers. The only thing we didn't make is the firefly right there. Right there. Look at that. Look at our poppy. So we did our 4 flowers. What do you think? We have a garden of flowers inside the house. A small garden, but we have a garden. This was our science class today in our early bird classroom. Why? Why were we making flowers in science? We're making flowers in science because we need to learn. See my lights out again? And it's weird because I don't know. We're not going to explain it. We can't explain it. So now what we're doing for science is keeping our stuff clean, keeping our stuff together, keeping our stuff organized so that we could follow directions exactly the way that the scientist wants us to follow the directions. Why? That's how we do experiments. We do experiments by following the directions of other scientists. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I'm the teacher. Thanks for joining me here in the science classroom for our early birds. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing math. Math and what?